Greeting everyone, welcome to this video. My name is Yu Tian, working as an Illinois Science Policy Scholar in the Department of Innovation and Technology. In this video, I'm going to share some of my experience of developing an educational resources map, which is STEAM Hub. So basically, this video will be divided into two parts. First of all, I'm going to do some introduction to this tool, and then I'm going to do some instruction to this application. From this video, you will have some basic idea like what kind of tool it is, and also if you want to do some similar project or you want to maintain this tool, that should be useful for you. Okay, let's go. All right, once you open this application, you will go to this page. So as you can see, you can find a splash window over here, so which contains some introduction and acknowledge part. You can also directly go to the how-to page, but you can just click on OK. So right now I want to click on OK. And then on the top of this application, that contains some logo and some tabs. So from this logo, if you click on this logo, you will go to the 4H website. So 4H will host this application in the future. As you can see, there are 5 tabs on this application. The first one is the resources map. The target user for this one should be the teachers and students. They can find out some resources across the state and also around their location. The second tab is the region analysis. The target user is mainly for the regional management. And then the third tab is the resources page. In this application, we only provide some on-site resources, but we want to have some connection with some online resources. So I provided a link to the DoIT website. So on the DoIT Educational Resources website, they also provided a bunch of useful online resources. So you can find out additional resources from their website. And then we can go to the how-to page that contains some introduction and instruction parts, and also the case study. And finally, there is a tab that is called Add Resources. Assume that if you have your resources that is not on the list, so you can fill out this survey. After that, we'll add your data to our map so that you can share your resources to other students and teachers. So that means our application is not only just a tool, but also a shared platform. You can share data with each other so that you can use those resources to prepare for some creative curriculum. So let's start with the how-to page. So at the beginning, we provided some introduction. The purpose of this application is to promote the K-12 STEAM education. And we also have the acknowledge. At this moment, I really thanks for Keith and Allison, who was our former Illinois Science Policy Scholar in 2020. Currently, our data was supported by the survey created by Allison and Keith and their collaboration with the teachers across our state. And the second part is the methodology. So basically, in order to develop this tool, we have 4 steps. First one, we need to conduct survey and resource collection, and then we need to prepare the GIS data and then convert GIS data to the map. And then we developed the STEAM Hub on the Experience Builder. And then for the last step, we need to maintain the website and update those data. For the demographic data, we use this U.S. Census Survey 2020 5 years estimate and the geospatial data that is based on the USGS data. And the STEAM resources is based on the survey on the teachers statewide. And the platform we use is the Esri ArcGIS Online Experience Builder. So we also tried other platforms such as the Power BI and the dashboard. The Power BI is also useful, but the Power BI could not have more connection in the future with other resources online. And for the dashboard, we met a limitation for some function. So finally, we decided to use the web experience. This is the key of the STEAM services, such as the potential STEAM sponsor and 3D printer and so on and so forth. And then we go to the instruction part. So for the first part, it is the introduction to different tabs. So we have the map, we also have the data, we also got the survey, and you can find some basic introduction to each tab. This is the instruction to the resource map. As I mentioned before, this is mainly for the teachers and students, and we introduce different functions and different components of this map. So we also have the database instruction here. You can also read through here. And then this is the instruction for the region analysis. So this is mainly for the data management. And you can see different data index from here. And finally, we provided two scenarios. The first scenario is for the educator. Like assume you're a science teacher and you want to find some 3D printer uh, around your location. You can do the same thing step by step. You can put your region here and then click on the 3D printer, and then you'll get the result of the 3D printer data around your location. And then you can also export the data into CSV file. And for the second scenario, we assume that you are a researcher who want to conduct some basic analysis on the resource integration and distribution within the region 1. So from here, you can also find some data. So after you click on the Cook County, the result will show the data index of Cook County and also different graph. And then you can also do some query. If you query the unit 3, the result will also show here. And then you can also export those data to JSON file or a CSV file. From this map, you can find the relationship between the data in density and the population. So let's just have a look at for those maps. So this is one is for the resources map. For example, if you are caring about the Champaign County, you can click on here. As you can see, the attribute will also change based on your search. And within those attributes, it'll provide some information like the name and the URL and different services those resources provide, such as the 3D printer. As you can see, for this one, it doesn't provide the 3D printer, but it does provide the potential STEM sponsors. And then there are also other different resources. And then, for example, if you find some issues on those attributes, you can click on report issue. After that, the name will be pumped up based on your selection. And then you can, for example, you can click on the resource name, and then you can correct the information, and then leave your email address here. After that, you are submit. And then you can also export those data into CSV file or GeoJSON or JSON file. So other than this, you could also filter those resources based on the type. For example, if you select the community college, so all of those community college will be pop up. And then you can also select multiple choices like the community recreation and maybe the museum. Also, you could filter those resources based on the services. Like if you are only interested in the 3D printer across our state, you can just click on the 3DP. That means 3D printer. And for example, if you are only care about some specific location, you could also search the location. Like currently, it'll only show the 3D printer available in the Champaign County. As you can see, we have two resources which are 3D printer available. Other than this map, we also have another map which shows the relationship between the resources density with the population. The lighter the color is, the more density the resources is. There are a bunch of resources in Champaign County. So that makes sense because the University of Illinois is over here. And we also have a lot of resources around Chicago region. Other than those functions, we also provide another layers. So currently, we already put the layers of the STEAM resources, Illinois boundary, geographic information, and community student age data. But you can also turn on the K-12 school district. So if you are familiar with those school district, you could also find out your school district over here. At the very bottom of this tab, we also provided a table. So those tables are also changed at the same time when you are filtering. You could also export those tables to the CSV file or JSON or GeoJSON files. And then let's go to the regional analysis tab. So for example, this tab is for the region 1 analysis. And under the data index part, it will show the population and the student population and the total population within region 1. And it also shows the total resources. And under the data index, we also provided some tables of the STEAM resources and the county population. Similar with the previous tab, you can also export them into CSV files and other GeoJSON files. And then we also provide some graphs. It shows the numbers of different services, and this graph shows the resources diversity. And you could also report issue based on the data. Other than this, you could also search those data based on the location. You could search by the county name or the unit number. For example, I could type in the Cook County. So as you can see, after you click on the Cook County, the data index will change. Also the table and the graphs. And this is for region 2. So other than this, we also provided a similar population and resource density map. So we also provided a function here. You could add your own data here. For example, you could add your data through your S3 account or put the URL here, or just drag the file of the CSV or GeoJSON file. So you can overlay your data on this map. We also provided a query. So you could query the STEAM resources over here. So by querying, we also provided a function like drawing a graphic. For example, if you put 10 miles as the buffer distance, and then you click a point, and then if you click on here, after that you click on apply. As you can see, the result will be pumped up based on your graph. So it all shows all of the resources within the buffer. And finally, you could also share this page to your friend or post it on the social media. And we also provide a URL here. All right, let's move to the development part. So when we develop this application, the first step is to conduct the survey. After we get the survey data, we use the ArcGIS Pro to make the geocoding. And then we publish the layer into the ArcGIS Online. So this layer is the result of the geocoding. And other than this, we also introduce some other layers such as the geospatial layer and the population layer. And based on those layers, we created a bunch of maps. There are two important maps in this application. The first one is the STEAM resources map. As you can see, it contains all of the STEAM resources across our state, which contains the name of the data and the types and the survey and the website and their addresses. Another important map is the student population map. Actually, those two maps are using the same data, but for this map, we are just using a different style. So by using this style, you can find the relationship between population and resource density. In addition to those two important maps, we also created different regional maps for each region. By creating regional map instead of just filtering the original map, we could reduce the burden of GPU so that the application will not reach the capacity of this platform. Now let's go to the interface of the platform. Basically, this application has 5 pages, which are the STEAM resources tab and region 1 analysis, region 2 and region 3, and how-to page. And we also have 2 windows. The first window is the survey, and the second window is a splash window at the very beginning of this application. I'm not gonna explain this interface step by step because that'll be super long and most of the work is duplicated work. But in this video, I'm gonna show some important steps for this development. So let's take this page as an example. Over here, you can see we put two maps. One is the STEAM resources map, another map is the population map. And another important component is the filter. By using the filter, you can filter the resources type or the service type. And under the filter, you need to link the data. Also, you need to write a basic SQL expression. After that, the experience builder provides a function called action. You can add a trigger. So once you get the trigger, the data filter change. The map will also be panned to the filter result and also zoom to the result. At the right side of this interface, there is a attribute. So the data of those attributes is connected with the map. Also, at the very bottom of this interface, we provided tables. Similar with the attribute table, it is also connected with the map. That means once we filter the map, the data of the table will also be changed at the same time. And for the region analysis page, under the text, we also link the data to the text. So those data are based on the map. Also, we provided the chart. There are two types of chart. The first one is for the service number, and the second one is for the resources type. From here, you could obtain the data structure in this application, which contains the regional map and the STEAM resources map. Alright, I'm not gonna explain them in details because every function will need your practice. The last but not the least part is that always keep in mind the accessibility issue. Pay more attention to the color that we are using. Some people may not read through some specific color. Also, under each map, it is also important to provide a table. For those who cannot read information through the map, the table will provide them another options to export and access the data. Alright, that's all for my experience sharing. If you have any further question, feel free to email me. I'll be always happy to solve your problem for you. And have a good one. I'm out.